All right. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, please. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Eichhorn? Here. Mrs. Lenahan? Here. Mr. Gemperline?
Here.
And I'll move to approve the minutes for,
Oh, I do not have minutes.
okay,
And did not get to them, so they're halfway done.
the 19th?
Yes.
Okay. Are we going to do departmental updates tonight, Matt?
Up to you. We have staff here if you want to go through.
Okay, sure.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I was not here for the last meeting, well, I don't think we did on last meeting. But service milestones, this month we have 6 firefighters that are at 15 years. We have firefighter Jonathan Clark, firefighter Nikki Smith, firefighter Kevin Wood, firefighter Brian Lesh, firefighter Ron Thomas, and Lieutenant Friesner are all at 15-year milestones, so that's awesome. Labor management, we are in IAFF negotiations. We have our hopefully final meeting tomorrow. We also had a benefits meeting with the USW and the IAFF. We may have a follow-up on that. And I'll be going to Nancy, said I can go to some of the Ohio Auditor workshops on HR and policies and procedures, and that will be later on this week. And Matt also said I could go to those. Matt had met with Otarma, and then they came back in last week on a cybersecurity, what they can do to help our security for computers. So that's an ongoing thing, and they sent me, about 50 policies that we're supposed to implement, but we will be picking and choosing them. And then there's workers' comp information on here as well. All right.
Next, Chief.
I'll be very brief because I know we have a long meeting tonight. I sent you my report this morning. Just want to point out we're a little over 450 runs for the year already, which is going to amount to a large, well not large, but a significant increase in service demand if we keep that up at this time. One of the things I'd like to point out, a lot of times I don't get to do this, but I'd like to point out that we had a cardiac arrest at Lifetime Fitness a couple weeks ago. The guys got there, they stabilized the patient, took him to the POW ED, got him further stabilized, and then transported to Riverside where they went to the cath lab. And the last report from Riverside is the person waiting for full recovery. So I think it's important that we spread the good news like that.
Thank you.
How you doing? Kind of business as usual at the park. Moving forward with picking up trash, cleanups, cleaned up some down trees after the big windstorm, getting ready for soccer to start here the 1st of April. Anything else?
Thank you. Thanks, Michael.
It's the big boss.
Good
I
evening.
haven't seen you in a while.
Here for the road report. Lots of plowing, salting. We're still waiting on one of our dump trucks to get back to the shop, hopefully this week. We've got a few potholes we've been filling. Picked up a lot of trash in between all the snow. Did some repair on some equipment in the shop. And we did some burn work on Bean Oliver and the River Roads in between the snow.
How are we on salt? Do we have a lot of dirt? Are we on track?
We should be good. Even though there's a salt shortage, we should be good for the rest of the year. Let's hope. Okay,
All right,
thank
thank
you.
you.
There's something on the agenda later which will help with the purchases.
Question about
Oh,
the microphone?
well, there's looks like it's on.
I don't want to. I don't want to trip all over. I'd probably unplug it and, yeah. The Board of Zoning Appeals had 2 meetings in February and heard 4 applications. They approved a slight encroachment for a house currently under construction. They approved a lot split, which left an accessory structure without a primary structure, but only for a very short period of time. They approved a reconsideration on a specified expiration date, and they continued a hearing for a request for a new tenant monument sign for the Wedgewood Commerce Building. The Zoning Commission had 1 meeting in February and heard 2 applications. They approved a rezoning request for a large parcel on Olentangy River Road. It's the old Allington property. Rezoning it from planned residence down to farm residence, which will be in front of your board in April. They approved a development plan modification for Liberty Trace to include fence regulations for individual lots, as well as approving additional fencing to run along Liberty Road. We also worked on code revisions, which we hope to wrap up in April for this round of sessions, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll just wrap things up real quickly here. The Ohio Township Association has their winter conference every year, so I was able to attend that. Also, the VW diesel issue a while back, they were required to spend, I don't know, a couple $2 billion because of that. Ohio will be getting some of that money for charging stations, electric vehicle charging stations. So there was a meeting held to kind of discuss the potential opportunities for communities to obtain grant funding for those charging stations. They did do that. As Kathy said, we've been spending time with the IAFF and their contract negotiations. They also did attend the State of the County, which was presented by the 3 commissioners, and had a good turnout and was able to interact with other communities and residents. So. Questions? If not, I think we're not going to move forward with our Opal presentation. We have Les Wiberly, I believe will be presenting. I think you guys should have copies of the presentation and hard copies there as well.
Okay, thanks. I'm here with Art Siegesman, who started the Opal Trails Committee. And for those that aren't familiar with Opal, Opal stands for Olentangy, Powell, and Liberty Trails. Our overall objective is to basically improve the quality of life in Liberty Township through a better active transportation system, primarily trails, and work towards this becoming a bike-friendly community. Our objectives include safer township-wide trail system, good connectivity to other neighboring trail systems like Dublin and Delaware City to the north, Westerville to the right, to the east. And we're also supporting safer routes to schools, which is a ODOT program. The benefits are basically improved quality of life. People in this area say they would like more trails. Gives it an opportunity for outdoor wellness, ride your bike to work. For every person on a bike, you don't have somebody driving the car, so there are environmental and conservation benefits. And good connectivity to trails brings other people into our area to use our restaurants and our businesses. And you know, the most important thing, I think, is improved safety for the walkers, runners, and bikers. The roads around here are full of cars now. It's tough to be out on the road. So in terms of the improvements over the past year, the gap in the Sawmill Parkway Trail is now closed. Parks and Roads filled it with a crushed limestone trail segment all the way from the high school to Highest Road. So now we have a trail all the way from downtown Powell to Route 42 in Delaware. 2 new trail entrances to Liberty Park. There's a main entrance trail that is a safer way for pedestrians, runners, and bikers to get into Home Road Park. And there's a new entrance at the corner of Home and Liberty. We also worked a lot with Delaware County Engineering and the township to have a good trail design for the new roundabout at Liberty and Jewett Roads. The Liberty Trail got extended further south, and it goes all the way around the roundabout. We requested a trail along Jewett as part of that roundabout project. Delaware County built a shelf on the south side of Jewett Road and basically said it was up to the township to build a trail. Matt applied for some grants, we applied for some grants. Unfortunately, we didn't get them. It's an expensive project because of the railroad crossing. Also, the complete streets policy enforced by our zoning department is resulting in new trail segments for each new development that comes in. The frontage of each of these developments has a trail along it. We also work with ODOT to define and designate 2 state bike routes in Liberty Township, which the trustees have approved. And we worked with Delaware County Trails to incorporate our trails into their master trail plan. Some of our members also helped out with the walk and bike to school events as part of the Safe Route to Schools program. And we've also worked with the Central Ohio Greenway Forums, and we have worked collaboratively with our neighbors in Powell, Delaware City, Shawnee Hills, and so forth to coordinate our trails for better connectivity. So in terms of future trail development, Metro Parks is going to build a new trail from River Bluff Park up to High Banks. They hope to start that construction this coming fall. We've been talking with Delaware City about extending a trail from Chapman Road under 23 up into the city of Delaware. Construction on Home Road down to State Route 315 will include accommodation for trail in that section. And also, as Home Road is extended east of 23, that's going to have trails along it as well. So obviously, we need funding to move forward. We will continue to apply for grants from whoever has funds. And we also have a bike trail fund, which we accept any contributions into. In terms of challenges, we really need trail development on Home Road, Rutherford Road, and Jewett Road. The challenge of building safe crossings across the railroad tracks is significant. The railroad works on their own rules, and it's expensive to do that, but there's still the need for that. And there's also a need for a safe crossing on Liberty Road near the schools and parks. And we'll continue to work with zoning, Powell, Delaware County Engineering, and ODOT to try to include trails in all new developments and road improvement projects. So our recommendations for the next year is let's apply for trail grant money, factor in feedback from our previous applications. The trail along Jewett going east from the roundabout is important because that is now part of the state bike route. It's also the main way that people get between Worthington and the Olentangy Trail and this area. And with the roundabout, there's actually more traffic going through there now. Then a new item here, when we did a public survey a couple years back, the 3 highest priorities were trail along Liberty Road, which we built, Home Road, which that's a big problem to bite off, but we're working on it in sections, as road construction is done, get another section of trail. The third priority was Rutherford Road. The traffic on Rutherford has grown to be too dangerous for pedestrians and bicyclists. I see people out there running in the ditch to avoid getting hit. The new developments on Stites and Home Road are going to increase that traffic. And this would connect several neighborhoods to the Sawmill Trail. Also working with Delaware County to include the trails in the Home Road projects as they're defined. A lot of entities have defined Home Road as a key trail corridor. Opal, Delaware County Trails, Morpsey, and ODOT have all designated that. And our final request is to continue our charter for another year. So this is a quick diagram. This red stripe is the new trail between River Bluff Park and High Banks, which we understand will start construction this fall. Now the problem is there's no way to get there by bike. So this diagram shows that if you look at the Powell Liberty Township area up at the left side, there's safe passage down to the intersection of Liberty and Jewett. That red area indicates the trail that's needed. The blue area takes you all the way down to Olentangy Trail through safe residential streets. And the trail above that is actually going down Manning Parkway, which gets you down to 315, which will get you to that new trail that Metro Park is going to build. So we want to thank the trustees for supporting trail development, Matt for being our key liaison in this, Parks and Roads Department for building all those new trail sections, zoning for enforcing our complete streets policy, and all the people involved in Opal and the community for supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no questions, I forgot, we do have Adam Howard from the Health District here to give us his update too, so.
Thanks for all your work.
Adam, sorry about that. I didn't see you over there.
I'll try and keep it brief as well. Just a couple things. On March 14th, which is next Thursday, we have the District Advisory Council meeting where we elect Board of Health members. By default, the president of the Board of Trustees is the member for the BAC. So if the president isn't able to make it, you all can decide to have another representative come. If you are interested, it's at 6:15 at the Health District office at 1 West Winter Street. The actual meeting will begin at 6:45. We have 3 folks up for 1 spot this year, so it will be an important meeting if you can attend. One other update is I'll give you an update on the statewide hepatitis A outbreak. Currently, Ohio has over 1,800 cases. This has been ongoing since last January. Delaware has about 8. We actually got 2 suspects in February, and we usually average 0 to 1 throughout the entire year. So our high-risk groups for hepatitis A with this outbreak are people who have direct contact with the patient, men who have sex with men, drug users, incarcerated, homeless, and those who travel to an outbreak area. We do have a vaccine for it. It came out in the mid-90s, so if you weren't a child after the mid-90s, you may or may not have the vaccine. So if you do feel like you are at risk, I would ask, just give us a call if you have a group that needs vaccines. We've been doing traveling clinics to vaccinate folks for hepatitis A. So if that's something that interests you, just let us know, and we'd be happy to come and hold a clinic. All right? Thank you all.
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Okay, we're going to move on to public comment. We'll start with Denise.
I'll pass.
Okay. We'll go to Sue.
My name is Sue Braden, and I live at 3869 Coral Creek Court. That happens to be in the 17 acres condo community. I've been there for 7 years. For months, let me just say, for months I've been trying to figure out what in the world is happening here in our community. Finally, I decided to use my expertise, which is, I'm a social worker. So I decided to use my social worker expertise to try to figure out what's happening here. And I've served people in various placements and social settings with various problems. Therefore, I feel I have some professional perspective to observe what has been happening with the Liberty Township Fire and EMS situation. It does not seem likely to me that this board has inflicted the pain and agony to the community and to the professional fire and EMS community while in a rational frame of mind. If this is, as I suspect, one or more members of this board with an emotional or similar problem, I encourage self-examination. I implore you all to take a look at yourselves. My experience has repeatedly shown me those who are in emotional crisis have their entire world crash around them. Professional attention should be sought for any of us who have an emotional problem and be causing anguish. You do not have to wait for your entire personal life to crash around you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Joe? Oh, not you, Joe. Sorry. Not Joe Powell.
I can take a good turn.
Joe Southwood,
I
please. Oh, two Joes.
Would you like to still one?
No, mine's shorter.
I may cut mine short too. I really want to change a little bit the tone that I use, and I appreciate withdrawing the wishes that everyone has, and I don't discourage them, and I don't even discourage the trustees from seeking the objectives that you say you're seeking. And well, I prefer in the way that you seek some of them, and we can keep talking. But following the last trustee meeting, when we introduced the topic to start talking about the fiscal stuff, which is important. That's really where my native area is. It's really talking about things. I began digging into the overall finances of the county to understand that their overall picture. Because that money that we get extra money from them has to come from somewhere. If you're on some of the local community groups, you would have seen that I have begun to discuss the findings. Now, I had a conversation with Commissioner Gary Merrill, and my thinking was, in order to give the fiscal topics the same level of diligence that I think we're now giving to the experts in the EMS with this is such a long name, the Delaware County Pre-Hospitalization Care System Board. I'll call it the EMS Board for short. So I really am heartened by that board's existence, and I feel like we could have a similar effort with a more countywide approach for the fiscal stuff. And as I was speaking with them, I came to really believe that I don't want to risk muddying the water around the newly formed EMS board. We've had some really excellent comments. I can't say enough good about Police Chief Gary Best. He said a lot of these things about putting the public health first, public safety first, and figure out the money later. And that's really the direction that I want to go now. So I really, with apologies to anybody who was looking for a longer report, I'm not going to release a whole lot right now. I'm confident those conversations are going to happen. They should happen. I mean, it's been a problem for coming up in 50 years, right? I mean, I don't mind, Trustee Lander, I don't mind, and Trustee Gamble, I don't mind you attacking that issue. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable. But I'd like to really be an advocate for finding consensus, not just between two jurisdictions, between us and the county, but across the entire system. And we're all citizens both of this township and of the county, and we're all interested in fiscal responsibility across all of the jurisdictions that serve us. So, by all means, let's have those conversations. But just like the EMS board, doesn't that sound so much easier to say? just like that board, I think we can take that same approach when we talk about the fiscal stuff. And once and for all, we do have to figure out that 1971 sales tax. I mean, a lot of people in this room, have some really strong opinions. And if it were in isolation, we were talking about that, I think the response would be a lot more friendly. So that time will come. Thank you for bringing it up. I look forward to hearing your discussions as a board, but that's my position to basically say I don't have a whole lot to say today, and hopefully for once. Right?
Right.
All right. Thank you very much.
Don Kaiser.
I'm Don Kaiser, 3382 Winding Ridge Drive. I've been a Powell resident since last May. And I just want to talk for 30 seconds about representative government. Benjamin Franklin said, "It is the first responsibility of every citizen to question authority." Thomas Jefferson said, "We do not have government by the majority, we have government by the majority who participate." Going way back to Plato, one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. We have a lot of people participating in our government, and I hope that you respect your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly?
Hello.
Hello.
Kelly Cameron, 2290 Wildcat Run Court. I came up to say something about something other than EMS, but I do have a quick EMS comment, if I may. I really love the fact that you guys are going after our share of funds. Maybe there's methods that would work better than others, I don't know, but it's the right path, and I appreciate it. And I know Barb Lewis, the county commissioner, even agrees that we're not getting our fair share of funding from the county. So it to me confirms that it's the fair and right thing to do. My only thought about it would be that I can't see a solution where the county is going to work a deal just with us and not the other townships. So I think realistically, it's more likely to get to a solution, and frankly would give us more leverage if we kind of collectively bargained, if you will, with the other EMS providing townships to negotiate with the county and make similar demands if we want to or whatever, but to kind of go as a unified force, I think would maybe give us a better chance of getting the kind of outcome we very much deserve. Now, on a non-EMS stuff, I want to speak about the home road POD for a moment. I've got a couple of concerns with it. If this board decides that we want to fundamentally change that area from the much more rural zoning it is today to something much more dense, more or less I don't have a problem with what's being proposed. The developer are good people. The plan's nice. The problem is I have a fundamental problem with the concept that we're going to change it. Two reasons for it. From a strictly financial standpoint, I look at this and I go, what is this going to do to our community from my wallet standpoint? You're talking about a lot of units going in that don't have to be that many units. Obviously, they can develop it. They don't have to have a zoning change to get higher density. So the impact of that higher density on the school system is additional crowding. It also means that the school system could potentially have to have more redistricting. And at the end of the day, especially when you have a heavy mix of lower priced single family homes, condos, and apartments and whatnot, and it's right next to the schools within walking distance, I think you're going to see a lot of people with kids who want to live there. And where else can you walk to school at a prime school system in the entire state? This might be one of the only areas where that's the case. It's going to be in high demand, and that's going to mean multi-million-dollar deficits, in my opinion, to the school system budget. I know that people have reached out to the school system and said, what do you think? They said, we're fine with it. Yeah, they can handle the capacity. Put a couple more kids in each class. You know, they're not concerned with the fact that it creates a financial deficit, because that can be addressed with levies or cutbacks or what have you. But I would say to all of us who live in the township already, that's not in our best interest. It's not in my best interest to have a property tax increase or have more private classrooms for my kids, just so we could build something that can have to be built at that level of density. There's no reason we can't honor the zoning code as it is, and that's my opinion on that. The other comment about the change and why I'm against it is it's a fundamental shift from our comprehensive plan as a township, as well as the city's comprehensive plan. And as I'm sure all of you know, it has significant impacts on the future of what the city can do, and frankly, the future of the township. It's not literally just this one issue in a bubble. It will change how this community as a whole, and I say that to mean the township and city together, are going to evolve over the next 5, 10, 25 years even. We all know that this effectively blocks the city from further expansion north, and maybe there's pros and cons to that, but it certainly will have those significant impacts, and those impacts are significant enough, in my opinion, that deserve further conversation, debate, and really looking at going, does this make sense for all of us as a whole? One of the things specifically that comes to mind is a lot of us like the fact that the township is more rural at that part of the county. It's not so busy, you've got 1 acre lots. It gives a nice look that we think is great for the community, which also helps my property values. So if we're going to change that to a much more dense look, it doesn't look like the township to me that much anymore. It looks more like the city. I don't want it to become that way, but I would also say that if it becomes more dense like the city, why would we not want the city to be able to get income taxes out of that, which they can reinvest into the city and roads and all that stuff? It just seems to me that fundamentally we need to go with a much lower density solution that doesn't have those negative impacts on the schools, or look at it where we totally start from scratch and say, what's the best way to handle this collectively? So I just want to pose that as a question. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Doug Clark, you're up.
My comments are not regarding the EMS or things, regarding the section 18 of the zoning code, which we're going to evaluate tonight. I'm a 19-year resident of the township and a member of the Liberty Township Zoning Commission. I've seen a lot of growth in the township in the time that I've lived here, and we're going to continue to see a lot of growth in the township, whether that be in Liberty Township or the city of Pack. Township today and tomorrow is not the township that it was 50 years ago or even 20 years ago. It's changed. The parcels covered by this coding revision encompass approximately 300 acres that are owned by 3 longtime residents. They've owned the property for decades, and they have determined it's time to sell. The recommended revisions to Section 18 of the Township Zoning Code are a result of numerous work sessions with the representatives of the sellers, the buyer, their legal representatives, the Delaware Regional Planning Commission, who has approved this, and representatives of the Township Zoning Commission to address several items. Most importantly was the use and the density. Okay? There have been accommodations made on all those factors. Additionally, there were 2 public zoning commission hearings which were held on these changes. The master developer has reached out to all of the adjoining property owners along Stites Road, has met with them, has listened to them, and has accommodated and incorporated their needs in this application. The interesting thing was, at the second public hearing, every public comment that was made was in favor of this change. There was not a single negative word out of the public at that meeting. Okay? These changes lay out a master development framework that provides long-term version and plan for single-family, multifamily, empty nester, assisted living, medical facility, and some apartments, and a 15-acre public park. in addition to the required green space. As each subsection is developed, that developer will have to come back before the zoning commission, okay, to receive final approval. What is being put in place with section 18 of the Township Code is strictly a framework for development. It sets the mix and the maximum densities, not the minimum densities, okay? As a resident and a zoning commission member, I believe these section 18 code revisions are firmly in the township's best interest for long-term managed growth in mixed land use. And the one thing I would point out, and I've said this many times before, back in the 80s, okay, the county determined how this township was going to grow by creating another major north-south corridor with Sawmill Parkway. It started out with the Wedgewood Commerce Center at the county line. It then went on to Gulf Village, which took us up to north of Home Road. What we're looking at here is no different than those two frameworks, the Wedgewood and the Gulf Village framework for development. What has changed is the Ohio Revised Code now permits a vehicle called a planned overlay district, or sometimes it's referred to as a PMUD, which is a planned multi-use district. PODs and PMUDs are used throughout Ohio. Okay, Evans Farm is a PMUD. Okay, North Star and that whole area up around the outlet mall and all that development oasis and everything, that is also a planned or a PMUD. There are PMUDs going on throughout central Ohio because it allows you to take a large tract of land and build a future framework as to how that's going to be developed, as opposed to taking each small parcel and dealing with an individual developer who is only interested in their view. In this case, we're dealing with a master developer who has a large vision for this 300 plus, or almost 300 acres. Okay? From an education standpoint, the schools and everything, totally understand that. The developer can speak to some of the factors that he learned in dealing with the Olentangy Local School District. The bigger impact is not what Liberty Township is going to do to the schools. The bigger impact is all of the development in Orange Township. If you go to the Delaware Regional Planning Commission website and you look at the development patterns in Delaware County, the majority of those developments are going in Orange Township, hence the reason 3 of the high schools are now in Orange Township or Berlin Township. Okay? Genoa Township, if you look at their development patterns, they are developing also. It isn't strictly Liberty Township that's going to put the strain on the school system. Okay? I would encourage you, if you have any questions, I'm a member of the Zoning Commission. Bonnie Goodson, who is the chairman of the Zoning Commission, is here tonight, and we'll be happy to answer anything that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to close down public comment.
Trustee Lanahan, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for, under 121.22G 8 for economic development. I think I have to read this. While we're waiting for it, to consider confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production, techniques, trade secrets, or personnel, financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance, or to negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for economic development assistance, provided that both of the following conditions apply. Do I need to go through all the conditions? No. Okay. And if I can get second that. Yes, it did. And I would ask that just the three of us would go into any room that you guys would like, so no one else would have to move, and it would probably take all of 10 minutes.
Okay. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
It's
Okay, I'm going to try to follow procedure appropriately, and if I'm not, I welcome any help. I'm going to announce the public hearing on case number LTZ 18-05, and we're going to start by having Matt read the public notice.
I'm going to apologize up front, not have to read the front and the back of this, so it's not very long reading, yeah. Liberty Township Board of Trustees will meet at 7 p.m. on Monday, March 4th, 2019 at the Liberty Township Community Building, Fire Station 7761, Liberty Road, Powell, Ohio 43650. For the following. LTZ 1809 to consider a motion. To consider a motion to adopt by the Liberty Township Zoning Commission, adopted by the Liberty Township Zoning Commission, I apologize, which proposes an amendment to the Liberty Township Zoning Resolution. This proposed amendment is designated as case number LTZ 19-05, which pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 519.12 is a proposed amendment to the Liberty Township zoning resolution and would, if adopted, add sections 18B and 18C to the Article 18 of the zoning resolution and create 2 additional planned overlay districts as planned and unit development under Ohio Revised Code 519.021C, which would include sections detailing the purpose and establishment of the planned overlay districts, requirements for the planned overlay districts, including development tract sizes, permitted uses, open space, and prohibited uses, establishment of a review process and procedure for planned overlay districts, process for modifications or extensions of development plans, basis of approval, an approval period process for modifications or extensions of development plans, provisions for design standards and minimum development standards, including but not limited to access, setbacks, yard areas, signage, landscaping, parking, loading and open space, and provisions for divergences from the minimum development standards. This amendment would also amend section 5.01 by adding 2 additional planned overlay districts to Article 18 as zoning districts in the zoning resolution, revising the zoning map to designate the planned overlay areas. As part of the proposed amendment, the following parcels are proposed to be rezoned from FR1 farm residence planned overlay districts 18B and 18C, POD 18B and POD 18C. 4 parcels which are owned by David R. Pearl, Annette Lockwood, Edward C. Pearl, and R. and S. Pearl Family LLC, tax mailing address 6982 States Road, Ohio 43065, as follows. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-039-000, 1.28 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-040-000, 2.00 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-036-000, 7.09 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-039-000, 30.924 plus or minus acres. And 1 parcel which is owned by Edward C. and Donna H. Peterson, aka Donna H. Pearl, with a tax mailing address of 7135 Stites Road, Powell, Ohio 43065, as follows. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-037-000, 49 plus or minus acres. And 5 parcels which are owned by Heights State Farm LLC with a tax mailing address of Dorothy Suzanne Jackson, 7017 St. Road, Powell, Ohio, 43065 as follows. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-036-000, 84.609 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-028-000, 22 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-027-000, 9.47 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-210-01-026-000, 11.785 plus or minus acres. Delaware County parcel 319-210-01-011-000, 61.077 plus or minus acres. And 5 parcels which are owned by Randolph A. and Rita Schertzinger with the tax mailing address of 3208 Home Road, Powell, Ohio, 43065, are as follows. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-019-000, 4.865 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-018, 000.944 plus or minus acres. Delaware County parcel 319-240-01-010-001, 0.834 plus or minus acres. Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-009-000, 0.819 plus or minus acres, and Delaware County tax parcel 319-240-01-010-000, 9.986 plus or minus acres. Zoning Commission approved LTZ 18-05 with 5 yeses, 0 no votes. These parcels are also shown on the plan overlay maps, 18B and 18C, which are attached to and made part of the proposed amendment text. The proposed amendment, zoning amendment text and maps will be available for public examination. No, okay, I'm done. Good.
Thank you, Matt.
Sorry, Patty.
That's one correction only early on, it's LTZ 1805, just for the record. Okay, I believe everybody who wanted to speak in the public has spoken. Is there anyone else that wants to be sworn in and speak on case LTZ 1805, other than property owners, which I'll call you next? Bonnie?
I need these sworn in.
Yes, no, go on up, you're good. That's Matt's name.
Back to me, you can hear my voice again. Let's see. Do you solemnly promise and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you're Bonnie Goodson.
I am Bonnie Goodson, 7956 Stites Road. I won't reiterate it, take up the time. I think that Joe did a very good job of kind of summarizing our feelings. I just wanted to attest that I'm completely in accordance with what he said. And just, I'm going to get real personal and upfront about me and where I live, because I live on Stites Road. And also because there's a few cousins that are involved in this too. And I come from a farm background for the majority of my life, and own property in a large farm in another county. And I just want to say that it is, and not that you don't all know this and recognize it, but I want to say it again, that it's hard to make a living on the land across the board and be a family farmer, not a big commercial farm with a big name, but a family farm. And a lot of those farmers need to get rid of their land if they don't have any family coming up to take over. And when they do, they want to get as much as they can for their hard work, for their family's hard work, for the years that have been put in, the decades that have been put in, and they have a right to do that. And we know that.
And people have a right then to come in and buy it also. So what makes it hard is when those properties are close to cities or towns. And there is no perfect solution for all of the problems, but I do feel that this one is, number one, letting the property owners have some control over what happens to it in the future, which is not always the case. That once it's sold to developers, then it's really out of your hands, and not that it will be in their hands, but I just like that. I think that's a great thing. And I just want to encourage open-mindedness. I, like everyone else, have a lot of concerns about the schools, because I have 10 grandchildren that are graduating from somewhere in Olentangy. And I have, I live on Stites Road, and I know what the traffic is like, and my road is very dangerous now. And I'm not joking, very dangerous. And that's not going to get any better. So I share all those concerns, but yet would I love to see it, and if anybody here has the money and the desire to buy a big farm, or several pieces of land and put it together and make a farm that would sit there, there would probably be no opposition to that. And we would rezone it like we did the parcel of land on 315 and make it farm residential again. And that would be wonderful, but that's probably not going to happen. And so I think this is a good way to do it. I just encourage open-mindedness. And one other thing, I first got involved in local government back when my neighbor, John Lane, sold his farm, which is now a big part of the village, right across the road from me, and was very concerned about what was going to be there. And I have been to meetings in Powell as a member of the township, a resident of the township, but I'm not a resident of Powell, though my address is Powell. And occasionally I even get mixed up when I introduce our board. But they aren't synonymous. And so with that, I got interested in this whole thing and found that we thought we had done right by that development, even though it wasn't a popular thing particularly. And then they annexed the Powell. And so I have concerns because I have not seen the enough breaks. I don't call a house or two to lower the density as really giving much of anything back to the township. Or to the community as a whole. And when I say township, I have to include, Powell. So anyway, I have lots of concerns. I'll be glad to talk to anybody one-on-one that would like to know my own personal opinions of things. I'd be glad to do that. But I just want to encourage everyone to take a good look and try to be open-minded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bonnie. Okay, I'm going to invite any of the property owners or their representatives to speak. Yes?
You were asking for non-property owners that wanted to be sworn in.
Yes, you can swear in if you're interested. You can be sworn in.
I'm going to go for you. I will sit down.
Wait.
Well, step back.
Okay, fine, where I am. Okay, here we go. Do you solemnly promise and affirm that testimony you're about to be able to be the truth and the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do. Nico Fernandez, 2055 Lexington Drive, Liberty Township. To echo the comments that have been made, we all are aware that this is a large change to the zoning code and a large parcel of land in our community that could be redeveloped for better use beyond farming. As folks have mentioned, is perfectly within the rights of the current landowners to sell and to have it be developed by people who purchase it. It's about 300 acres. It has the ability to potentially impact how our communities grow over the next 20 or 25 years. It's a lot to weigh in on. And I'm aware that the Ohio Revised Code gives 20 days past a hearing date before a vote is necessary on the matter that's being heard this evening. So I would create consideration for a pause after the hearing this evening to consider all of the factors involved before taking the final vote on the matter that's before you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Don Hunter. I'm with Shopstein Real Estate Group. My office is at 2 Easton Oval, Suite 510, Columbus, Ohio, 43219.
Can you speak into the
We
mic?
can't hear.
I don't know if it's working.
Yeah, it's on.
It was working.
Can you hear now?
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay. I'll repeat myself. I'm Don Hunter with Shopstein Real Estate Group. My office address is 2 Easton Oval, Suite 510, Columbus, Ohio, 43219. I'm here to present some opening comments. We have some other brief speakers. May I thank you for reading that detailed notice. I will be brief, more brief than the notice. First of all, on behalf of our team, the property owners, the Burrows, the Schertzingers, and the Jackson family, we want to thank the trustees for the opportunity to be in front of you tonight. We also want to thank you for the process that your governance system has set forth, because we've had the opportunity to work very closely over these last few months with your Liberty Township staff, Liberty Township Zoning Commission, and we appreciate that opportunity to be engaged with them. And I think what we want to point out tonight to you is that the plan that is in front of you for your consideration really is the result and the byproduct of engagement with your community. We've engaged with your staff, as we said, with your zoning commission, and very importantly, we've had dozens upon dozens of meetings with our neighbors, your neighbors. We're asking to be invited into your community, and we take the responsibility and the stewardship very seriously about earning our way into your community. And we feel that some of the comments you've heard tonight reflect on that effort to earn our way into your community. We want to highlight a few things about the plan that is in front of you. It's a high-quality plan. It's responsible, and it's smart growth. It's an appropriate mix of scale and uses. It sets forth a narrow set of commercial uses. And then when you touch upon the issue of economic impact and the impact of the school system, it will conservatively generate over a 30-year period between $150 million and $225 million in new property taxes. In dialogue, in conversation, in meetings with the Olentangy Local School District, we know that the appropriate mix of uses, a balance of multifamily, single-family, and commercial, what this plan delivers for you, what it delivers for the residents of the Olentangy Local School District is the proper mix. It's an accepted economic reality that commercial and multifamily pay the freight and pay the way for the students that are generated in single-family homes. This plan will also deliver a comprehensive roadway system to best manage traffic. Those are the high points, and we wish to emphasize them, and we will be available to answer and address any questions. But importantly, I wish to introduce Tammy Porteous. Tammy is a member of the Jackson family. As you've heard, the Jackson, Schertzinger, and the Pearl families are multi-generational residents of Liberty Township And Tammy represents her family tonight, the Schertzinger and the Pearl families, and she's going to have a few comments, brief comments for you.
Good evening. My name is Tammy Jackson Porteous. My family and our neighbors of Pearls are lifelong 5-generation Liberty Township residents. We farmed here and we have seen many changes over the years. We have watched development come to us in the country. We are here with our neighbors and others who support this zoning, and most importantly, who support Liberty Township and want to see the township have a meaningful role in the development of this area. I want to thank the township for proposing this action and for hearing this case tonight. I also want to thank the Zoning Commission and the members for their unanimous recommendation for approval. The hearings on this matter were very interesting, and I am proud to be a part of this project. I think our developer has addressed almost everyone's questions and concerns and been open to suggestions, particularly those of neighbors and the Zoning Commission. And I hope that you will vote and approve this project for the good of Liberty Township. Thank you.
Thank you. In addition to reviewing what we see as the many benefits that this development will bring to the township, there's one critically important point that we wish to touch upon. That point is regional cooperation. And I want to underline regional cooperation. And we wish to compliment Liberty Township, the staff, the Zoning Commission, and the trustees for encouraging us to work with the City of Powell on opportunities for regional cooperation. In fact, I'm happy to report that over the past 2 to 3 weeks, I have personally been in direct contact with City of Powell City Manager Steve Lutz. We were asked to reach out by Liberty Township to the city, and we did that. In fact, I spent most of the last week of my vacation with my granddaughter on the phone with Steve, working through issues and questions. It got me in a little bit of trouble on the home front. But through Steve's good communication, we've had some very, very positive dialogue. And as a result of this communication, City Manager Steve Lutz has already formed a small working group comprised of City of Powell officials. We are already working towards regional cooperation in this development. In fact, tomorrow, we have 2 meetings with our group and City of Powell officials so that we can begin immediately identifying opportunities on how we all work together. So we thank you for the opportunity to be here. We're prepared to address questions that you may have.
All right, is there anybody else from the public after hearing all that that would like to weigh in? All right. And any follow-up? Okay. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
I have no questions, I have a comment, but I don't have questions. I first want to say thank you to the Zoning Commission. I know you put a lot of work into it. I want to thank to all that spoke this evening. I want to thank you for your time, and definitely thank you for all the years, decades that your family has put in onto your land. One thing that I've always stood behind and have repeatedly said is I think it's very important that the township keeps their separate identity, and I stick by that today. However, I think it's extremely important that we work with the City of Powell for the betterment of the community as a whole, and that has not wavered, nor will that ever waver.
That's it. Okay, we're going to close the public hearing. And I'm going to make a motion to approve zoning resolution LTZ 18-05.
I'll second that.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me read it verbatim here. I'm going to motion to approve case number LTZ 1805 and accept the January 23rd, 2019 unanimous recommendation of the Liberty Township Zoning Commission to adopt POD 18D and amend the Liberty Township zoning resolution and amend the township zoning map as provided in the submitted text and map.
I'll second that.
Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
And now we'll make a motion to approve case number LTZ 1805 and accept the January 23rd, 2019 unanimous recommendation of the Liberty Township Zoning Commission to adopt POD 18C and amend the Liberty Township zoning resolution and amend the township zoning map as provided in the submitted text and map.
I'll second that.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
And we'll go ahead and move on to our resolutions. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bonnie, Joe, thanks. Thank you.
Resolution 19030401, purchase orders and blanket certificates.
Move to approve resolution 19030401. Second. Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes.
Resolution 2, approving bills and warrants.
Move to approve resolution 19030402.
I'll second that.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
Resolution 3, authorizing 2018 MS4 NPDES compliance charges. Resolution 09042008 committed Liberty Township to share the responsibility with Delaware County Engineers Office associated with the development and implementation of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System for Phase 2 stormwater requirements, which most local governments must comply. Township is designated by law as an operator of a small municipal separate storm sewer system. Engineer's office provides the services necessary for the township to remain compliant. Township reimburses the county engineers for the compliance charges associated with NPDES MS6.
Move to approve. Sorry. Oh, sorry, no. Are we ready? Move to approve resolution 19030403. Second. Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Resolution 4 is authorizing request for engineering assistance for road embankment issues on Orange Road. We did apply for an OPWC grant on this. We were not awarded the money, but there is still some concerns with that part of the road, so this will allow the engineer's office to take a look at it and make recommendations.
All right, move to approve resolution 19030404.
Second.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gempline?
Yes.
Resolution 5 is authorizing participation in the ODOT, Ohio Department of Transportation Cooperative Purchasing Program. This basically allows the township to use ODOT's purchasing power to make purchases like salt and mastic and things on that line.
Move to approve resolution 190300405.
Second.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mr. Genperline?
Yes.
Resolution 6, this is a continuation from our last meeting, the approval of Delaware, Knox, Mary, Morrow Joint Solid Waste Management District's amended draft solid waste management plan. I believe somewhere out here, hopefully we have a Cheryl Corbin. Hi Cheryl, can you come on up please? There were just some questions last meeting about the plan and I guess the purpose behind it.
Okay.
And what I guess your expectations are of the township.
The plan that we have is our normal solid waste plan. It helps pay for compost, yard waste, recycling, drop-off bins in Liberty Township. It's just time to re-ratify it. So we're asking that the townships all provide it. We've been working on the plan for the last 18 months using a consultant, GT Environment. The policy committee was charged with writing the plan, made up the following members, 7 members of each of our 4 counties. The Delaware County representatives are Barb Lewis, Commissioner, Joe Bullis, Mayor's Rep, Township Association Rep, Ron Bullard, Health Commissioner Rep Doug Sams, Industrial Rep Tom Price, Price Farms, Citizens Rep Paul Wise, Genoa Township Administrator, Public Rep Jane Hawes, Communication Specialist. Several committee meetings were held, a 30-day public comment period, 2 public hearings during the planning process. We didn't really have anybody that wanted to put comments in, which is expected. We do have some new initiatives we're going to look at. We're in the process of creating a new grant program specifically to begin or improve curbside recycling programs. We have education programs. Jennifer Way Young is our educator for Delaware County. She goes into the schools, talks about recycling programs, whatever the needs are. They're basically the same programs as they were before. The program funding, we get funded by $6 per ton from our waste disposal. The final steps to the planning process is ratification, which started on December 12th. It will end on March 11th. We're asking each and every municipality, no matter how big or small, to issue a resolution approving the developed plan during the designated 90-day time frame. No action during the 90-day time frame is considered a no vote, so we ask that you do vote one way or the other. To ratify the plan, we must have a yes vote from our legislative authorities representing a combined population of at least 60% of the district's total population, as well as 3 out of the 4 of our largest cities, which includes Delaware City, which they have ratified the plan. We have met the goals, but we'd like all townships to participate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll go ahead and move to approve resolution 190300406.
Second.
To approve the district solid waste management plan. Mr. Genperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Resolution 7 is authorizing the purchase of 3 fire hydrants to be located at Liberty Road and Hardin Lane, Liberty Road and Heights, and Bay Hill Drive and Rutherford Road.
I'll move to approve resolution 190300407.
Second.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mr. Genperline?
Yes.
Resolution 8 is authorizing an agreement with the Delaware Area Career Center for training. Liberty Township Fire Department works properly with the Career Center for education training purposes. Reciprocal agreements, students work with the Liberty Township Fire Department as part of their educational track. So this just authorizes the affiliation agreement between Delaware Area Career Center and the Liberty Township Fire Department.
Move to approve resolution 190-30408.
Second.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mr. Gepperly?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan? Yes.
Resolution 9 is authorizing recreation trail grant agreement with Delaware County and the City of Delaware. Up by Source Point, there were 3 parcels that had a gap of the trail. 2 parcels were in the City of Delaware, 1 was in Liberty Township. City of Delaware with Ted Miller, who's in the audience, submitted a application. So it's just our support to allow the trail to go over to the Liberty Township parcel. So Ted's here with any questions or...
I'll move to approve resolution 190-30409.
Second.
And what's the width of that, Ted?
It's 8 feet. We're going to get an easement for 10 feet in the future if we need it.
Okay, so we're good with easements, so, with the property owners, everything's good?
Yeah, everybody normally agreed to it, so we'll continue forward if we'll be agreeable here.
And the City of Delaware's gonna go ahead
Yes.
and, thank you, City of Delaware, okay, great.
Mr. Gepperly? Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan? Yes. Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Resolution 10 is reappointing Oval Bike Path Committee members and approving revised charter.
Move to approve resolution 190-30410.
Second.
I can't thank you guys enough. Thanks so much. I think we've made a ton of progress.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Gepperly?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Resolution 11 is authorizing the road department to purchase rock salt from the county. 493.36 tons of rock salt.
Okay, move to approve resolution 190-30411.
Second. So Andy, this is the part, is Andy still here? Or did you
Yeah,
go?
unfortunately, he's gone. But what was the question?
So this is the, where we have to have so many throughout the year that we purchase, so this is the last part, or this was an addition?
This is for 3 that we already had.
Okay.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gepperly?
Yes.
And resolution 12 is authorized expenditures for annual inspection of SCB 8-year, which is for the fire department at $4,244.
Move to approve resolution 190-30412.
Second. Use a U for the RC. Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Mrs. Icorn?
Yes.
Mr. Gepperly? Yes.
You get me?
I do have at least one thing for unscheduled business.
Okay.
As you're all aware, we received a letter from the City of Powell requesting a CETA annual review meeting, which is in the CETA agreement. As needed, we can hold these meetings. They're requesting that it be held on or before March 24th. So hoping either you guys might have some available dates you can provide tonight, or if you could respond by email tomorrow with available dates, I'll kind of coordinate and send those off to the City Hall and see about availability.
All right. Will do.
I'll just send a reminder out to you tomorrow asking for those dates.
Okay.
And I have one thing, I don't know if Nancy wants to talk about it, but tonight is and I may explain this wrong, but with the credit card statement that they need to,
The auditor has required of us to have a new credit card plan. And I think we touched on it a couple meetings ago. So we have the plan all put together, and we need to, it has to be signed, the approval for all of these invoices has to be signed by the chair. If the chair is not available, the attorney has suggested we have a co-chair,
Acting chair.
acting chair. So,
So they're supposed to sign, but all trustees get to review it.
yes, yes.
This is a signature that attests that all of you have seen it. And you don't have to do it right now. All right, anything else? Okay, well, I will move to go into executive session for ORC 12122G1 to consider the appointment of one dismissal, discipline, compensation of public employee or official, and ORC 12122G2 to